person that influenced me during my leadership journey, I would have to think back to when I started out at the university and was going to play baseball, but it didn't work out, and so I ended up transferring to a community college. And at that time, um, the coach, he was recruiting me out of high school, and he told me that if I ever wanted to come to the community college, I was more than welcome to do that. He gave me the pros and the cons of going to the university. He knew the coaches there. He knew a lot of people there. And he didn't try to hold me back from doing that. He basically encouraged me to go to do that. And then what happened was, ultimately, it didn't work out. So I ended up transferring after my first semester. And he accepted me right away and didn't have any questions about my decision, and just kind of put me into the system that he had already started. I was a semester behind everybody else because they started in the fall and were preparing for the upcoming season. So it was interesting that I started late, and he took the time, the effort, the energy to really work with me on a lot of areas of my game that I needed to work on. I was a center fielder, and so I could throw, but my mechanics weren't very good. So he really took it step by step, broke down what I was doing, videotaping it, showing it back to me, and saying, these are the things you need to work on. And he was with me the whole way. That was my first year, my freshman year of college. During the summer between my freshman and my sophomore year, he asked me if I would be the captain for the upcoming year, so my sophomore year. And at first I was a little reluctant, and he was like, no, I want you to be that person. And so I ended up being the captain my sophomore year, and I worked in his office. My work study position was in his office. So I got to see kind of what he was doing on a day-to-day basis as a coach of the team and running the program. And one of the jobs that he had me do was I had to type up on the typewriter, on mailing labels, every college in the country that had baseball. So my work study job was to do that. Now this is when you had to actually physically type it. So I typed it up, and what he did at the end of the season, he would put the profiles of all of us that were getting ready to transfer, all the information, and he sent it to every college in the country. And that's how I got my scholarship, was based upon that initial contact. And then he also had a lot of contact with the scouts in the area. So they got information about who I was based upon never seeing me before. I got a full scholarship to continue playing baseball. And I think a lot of that had to do with my coach and the time and effort he took to mentor me, to help me, to show me how to do it. My mom told me early on, never burn any bridges. And when he was recruiting me in high school, I thought there's no way I'm going to a community college. But I always was respectful to him. And I think because of that, when I came back to him basically with my hat in hand asking for an opportunity, he took me and embraced what I was doing. So just the way he reacted to that situation, I thought was great. We ended up winning 2 state championships during my time there. And in my sophomore year, I was the co-MVP of the state. So it was the time and effort he put into me helped me develop and further my education, as well as my athletic endeavors. And when I finished playing baseball and I finished college, he was coaching up in the Pac-10, and I was out in California. I made contact with him and came down to saw him and just said thank you for everything he did for me. And it's one of those moments, experiences that I've never forgotten, just because he went out of his way to help me, and I've tried to do the same for others in my position now.